We have an AI claims assistant, Jeff. We're taking millions of data points from claims submitted by our customers, analyzing them, and we're telling the doctors the likelihood of reimbursement. You could say, hey, look, we're going to do cash on this. Your insurance isn't covering it. So it's just really the tools that you need to get paid faster.
Hey, what's up, evidence-based chiropractors? I'm Dr. Jeff Langmaid, host of the Evidence-Based Chiropractor, and today I am excited to sit down and have a chat with Brian Alberry, CEO and founder of ChiroSpring. ChiroSpring is a really cool, really interesting EHR platform that I came upon maybe a month or two back. Brian, you and I have connected. I'm excited to sit down and really explore this so everybody listening and watching has a really good understanding of exactly what ChiroSpring can offer their practice. So thanks for taking some time out of your day and chatting.
Absolutely.
Let's pick it up with something. I'm gonna make a little bit of a left turn. You and I talked in memberships. They're a component of ChiroSpring. I love the idea of recurring revenue in a chiropractic practice. You're one of the first people I've talked to in the software world that's really taken that to heart and embedded it into what you do. Spend a few moments and elaborate on why did you think memberships were so important to include in ChiroSpring, and what can docs expect with how it sits and lives within your ecosystem?
Yeah. So, Jeff, I mean, that's a great question. The first thing I want to focus on is that any feature that we roll out in ChiroSpring has a lot of thought behind it. We don't just roll out a feature just to say, hey, here it is. We want the feature to work in your practice. And not only that, but kind of set it and forget it. And, you just touched on recurring revenue. That's everybody's dream. Look at car washes, cable cutters, your Netflix, everything's is a subscription. In the industry, chiropractors for years have suffered with reduced rates from insurance reimbursement. They've suffered with, hey, we have to submit a claim 3 times or fight a denial to get reimbursements. And there's a lot of effort that goes into that. What chiropractors, when I'm told and what we've heard, is that they want a better way to service their patients. And we've created memberships as a win-win opportunity. So here's how they work. So first of all, we made it easy for the patient. They can go to the doctor's website. They can see that there's a membership opportunity. They select the membership, which, by the way, Jeff, the doctor customized those. So they can, gold, silver, bronze, whatever they want. And then it asks for their credit card information, something that the doctor is going to want. So this is a true engagement opportunity. They enter their credit card details, and that goes right into ChiroSpring. Now, from there, the memberships are tracked, and you can set it as a use it or lose it option, which if you don't want to do that, you can also choose not to. But that's a true reoccurring revenue model. So if you do 4 adjustments a month for, call it $100, if they only come in for 3, the software automatically writes off that remainder. So just another opportunity for the docs.
I absolutely love it. Last year, I released a book called The Payday Practice, which is all around building recurring revenue in a practice. So you are speaking my language. Everybody listening and watching has heard me talk about this so often over the last few years. I love that there's a software solution that makes it super easy. Now, when you said chiropractors, I know a little bit about the behind the scenes. So I want to talk about some of the goals. You have chiropractic in the family. And I would love to tie that to some of your original goals when developing ChiroSpring. Doing software is no small deal. It is a big project, but as I understand it, and you can set the record straight, there's maybe some personal pain in the family for some of the other softwares out there that led to the development of such a physician and patient-focused EHR, which is known as ChiroSpring. So what's the history there?
Yeah. So, I mean, absolutely. You touched on it. Pain is what really drove us. And for listeners out there, my wife is a chiropractor, Dr. Chrissy Alberry. I just happen to be, if you want to call me a tech geek that just loves technology. So it was kind of, the 2 elements necessary to build a great company. And when she was looking for software, and this was 11 years ago, there truly was not anything, in our opinion, that was decent. There were options out there. Most of them are server-based at the time. So what we did is we set out on core criteria. Ease of use. So that's number 1. Complete system. I don't want people to have to go and have 3 or 4 different modules to run their practice. And affordability, and then really just mobility. cloud-based access anywhere. So from that, we worked and we built a company. And now we service over 1,000 practices in all 50 states. And we're also the highest rated system in the industry. So I'd say it's gone pretty well.
I would definitely say so. And one of the things that I noticed, I've cruised around chirospring.com. We'll be sure to drop that link down below as among others. But one of the things I love, and it might not, it's less, I'm going to say, form than function. We'll describe some of the function. We're going to dive deeper into that. So please stay tuned. But the aesthetics are awesome, is where I'm trying to go with this. When I look at the big hero image at the top of the website, man, the software looks clean. It looks easy to read. It looks inviting to use. I, as somebody who loves aesthetics of software, of design, really appreciate that. I'm curious on any of the background there. How do you think about aesthetics and how it plays a role and how docs interact with it? Because to me, it's one of the most important things, yet for so many EHR systems, it's so overlooked. What do you think?
Sure. Yeah. So, again, you're touching on my nerdiness or my love for technology and appreciation for user interface. So that is one of the things that I already touched on. When we create a feature, we put a lot of thought behind it before we roll it out. And aesthetics are high on that list in terms of usability. So you'll find in our application that navigating to different menus is easy. There's a dashboard, there's a virtual front desk. Things just make sense. And, toggles that you find on modern UIs like iPhones or Androids are present within our system. It's a sexy interface. And, that's kind of what we're going with, the colors and things like that, the scheme, because you're going to use this every day. And not just you, not just the doctor, but your front desk staff is using it, your CAs, therapist, anybody really needs to enjoy the system they're using.
Yeah, I could not agree more. And one of the things that I think from an ease of use perspective for patients, convenience matters more and more as time goes on. And us as chiropractors, all healthcare providers really need to be mindful of that. One of the things that I love within the ChiroSpring platform is the ability for online scheduling. That convenience factor is so critical from a patient perspective, and it just opens up a world of possibilities from a doctor perspective, improving workflow. You mentioned team. I love all of that. Let's dive a little bit deeper onto the online scheduling component within ChiroSpring. Why did you think that was a feature that was so important to have? What have you seen for results? How should docs be thinking about that?
Yeah. So, first of all, online scheduling comes in a lot of different forms. And it's not really true online scheduling unless you have the ability to customize your calendar on the user interface side. So the doctor should be able to put in their work schedule, block off times they're not there, vacations, lunches, so forth. Furthermore, they should also indicate times where they're willing to see new patients and times where they're willing to see, just repeat visits, adjustments, and that sort of thing. Some docs like to schedule 3, 4 across in a given time slot, so it's very flexible. But really, Jeff, what I consider true online scheduling is when a patient can go to your website, select a time, date, service, and book that appointment and have it go right into the EHR. And that's what ours does. So it'll automatically appear on the calendar as long as that patient's in your system. Now, if they're not in the system, just add them. And there's a little, queue where you can add the patients that are not in the system.
I love that. That is a critical point, and I want to reiterate that for everybody listening and watching, really having the true integration as Brian just described. When you have what's reflected on your website being a reflection of your real calendar, that's fully customized for you and makes it easy for the patient to hop on. This leads into a perfect transition to where I wanted to go next, which is once a patient gets in the system, you have what's called the Growth Hub. And this is really a fantastic opportunity for practices to stay connected with their patients. Maybe spend a few moments just describing what the Growth Hub is and what docs can expect from a benefit point of view when they begin using it.
Yeah, so it's an excellent question. One thing that a lot of doctors don't really, they're busy. They don't stop and think about, hey, I get a patient in the door, but I need to nurture that patient. There's a patient journey that takes place. And what our Growth Hub has done is, first of all, it's fully integrated. You don't have to go and use an external vendor that sends messages and that sort of thing. There's lots of those. By the way, they're more expensive. But our Growth Hub does several core things. So first of all, we're going to get patient messages, reminders. They're going to be sent out automated. You can customize reminders on a per patient basis, which is really cool. You can also do birthday messages. So if you want to say happy birthday, that's great. But if I said, hey, happy birthday, by the way, your football team just won, that's great. Patients they're surprised, that the doctor would take the time to do that. So that's covered. Patient reviews are becoming increasingly more important, more so now than ever. Just like when you're looking to find a great place to eat, people are turning to Google and reviews to find their chiropractor. And Google ranks those who have more reviews. They give them a higher ranking. So naturally, you're going to want an automated system to get those. So we've got that. Now, what a lot of systems also fail to have is patient recall and marketing. Again, both built into our system. We have beautiful templates you can create with our editor. Any emails you want, campaigns like that, lead management, it's all there. And again, the main take home point, it's integrated and two-way chat. If a patient's running 5 minutes late, they can text you. It goes right into the system and you can respond back within seconds. It's awesome.
Yeah, the two-way text feature is incredibly powerful. Really being able to communicate with your patients, as Brian just described, in a moment in time. Those sort of transactional text, aside from the relationship building and some of the campaign structure that can happen behind the scenes, really from an immediate impact in your practice. If you are not utilizing a text-based solution, again, I'm going to encourage you to head over to ChiroSpring and check it out, because this is something that can make an impact in your practice literally tomorrow. We all deal with patients every day that are late, need to reschedule, just the host of things that's running a chiropractic practice. So being able to have automated when needed and yet personalized when needed solutions with real-time communication is so, so powerful. I love it, Brian. It looks like you had something to tack onto there.
Well, I was just going to say, everybody wants immediate response today. And to be able to text and have the office respond within seconds, it's engagement, and patients can go somewhere else easily. And when they feel engaged, they're going to have more stickiness. They're going to come in and, tie that back into the memberships, right? They're going to come in more for that. So it's really just having, and that's where the 360 name came from, by the way, Jeff, ChiroSpring 360. It's the entire circle, the patient journey from finding you on the website, the reviews, getting your forms filled out, seeing you for the visit, quick notes, all those things, and then re-engaging them through engagement.
Yep. That is a great way to put it. We've talked on this podcast a couple of times about the patient journey, being able to guide it. So having an EHR that can actually step into that role and provide much of that guidance, so powerful. One of the things you mentioned is, with the real-time communication, being able to potentially generate a recall, a reactivation, a new member to the program that you decide to offer. And that all ties into billing. One of the things that I noticed within ChiroSpring was integrated billing. And this is a question I think a lot of docs have when they sign up with an EHR, because people listening they span the gamut. Some are cash practices, some are insurance-based, some do mostly PI, et cetera. And some softwares out there have had difficulty really integrating billing in a way that just works, I guess. And then it seems like a Herculean task. You guys have taken it on and really done a great job with it. For the docs listening, maybe spend a moment or two just describing the integrated billing capacity within ChiroSpring so docs know what to expect once they get up and running.
Yeah. So first of all, you touched on a core belief is that billing is terrible, in just in a nutshell. Just from the submission process to the denial process to the why is this rejected, and oh man, it's 180 days and now I'm not getting paid, and really, come on, it's a nightmare. So we have done a lot of work, Jeff, to make sure that the billing is simple. And there's a couple things that the listeners on this podcast should really pay attention to. First of all, when you're creating your SOAP note, it'll walk you through the process. We have over 50 templates, and a lot of those will walk you through the process for compliance. So to make sure that you're compliant, that's a big one. So if you ever get audited, you want to make sure you're compliant. The second one is that things like diagnosis pointers, charges, those automatically copy over visit to visit. They're easy to change. But where ChiroSpring really shines is with two tools that we offer. Advanced claim scrubbing, which means we're scrubbing your claims, which by the way are automatically created when you complete your note. So no added work. We're scrubbing those claims for a lot of things, not just basic things like missing birthdays, but if a diagnosis pointing to a code that doesn't make sense, invalid NPI numbers, modifiers missing, that kind of thing. So that's there. There's little flags. You can fix them right in the system. This saves weeks of time because if you submit those claims and they get rejected, you're now 3 or 4 weeks behind the ball on getting paid. Now, the next thing, which we're the only system that I've ever seen had this, we invented this. We have an AI claims assistant, Jeff, and this is amazing. We're taking millions of data points from claims submitted by our customers, analyzing them based on the insurance carrier, and we're telling the doctors the likelihood of reimbursement. So imagine if a patient comes in, they want to do some therapy with you or a decompression. Wouldn't it be nice to know if they had a 97% reimbursement chance or maybe a 2%? So these are, at time of with the patient decisions that you can make. And you could say, hey, look, we're going to do cash on this. Your insurance isn't covering it. So it's just really the tools that you need to get paid faster.
That's a really critical point that you brought up. I want to just come back on that because I want everybody listening to really understand what you just said. You guys work with, thousands of practices, doing many visits. Being able to, anonymously and appropriately tap into that knowledge and data is so impactful. There's so many docs out there that send it out and hope for the best, which is like, we say hope is not a good marketing strategy, right? Nor is it a good billing strategy. So being able to have not only the system provide a scrubbing capability, but also, as you just mentioned, really being able to have, I'm going to call it practically predictive analytics so that you can understand how to have an accurate conversation with your patient. And that protects you on the back end as a business as well. That right there has the potential, depending upon the size of your practice, to equate, I'm going to say, to thousands, tens of thousands, potentially even hundreds of thousands of dollars for the larger practices per year in not only the ability to head off challenges before they occur, but also being able to provide an even better patient experience because you have all the information to have the right conversation, as opposed to trying to deal with it 1 month down the road, as you mentioned, 2 months down the road. You've costed time and money. You're going back and having an awkward conversation with a patient. And this is a absolute power tool that everybody listening needs to be super in tune with. And I'm going to encourage everybody listening and watching, ask who you use with billing right now. Get a feel for what's going on with your own billings, because I have a feeling you're going to find a lot of information that is cringeworthy, but that also these two direct systems, the claim scrubbing and the AI claims assistant, will directly make an impact similar to 2A tax like today. Imagine being able to tap into that knowledge, be able to have a proactive conversation. I absolutely love it. Brian, we've been moving super fast and furious. We barely, got the surface of what ChiroSpring can offer. But I want to say thank you, number one, for coming on and sharing. Number two, thanks for taking the time to really build a software solution that helps a practice run more effectively and efficiently in a very meaningful way, as we just described those things. And I also want to encourage everybody listening and watching, hop on a demo. See what ChiroSpring and how it can impact and benefit your practice. I'm going to drop those links down in the show notes. So regardless of where you're watching or listening, click on down below, schedule a demo, ask some questions about the claims assistant, ask some questions about the claim scrubbing, talk about the Growth Hub, because these are really important technology steps forward that ChiroSpring is on the forefront of. So that was a long-winded way of getting towards Brian. I really appreciate you hopping on, chatting today, and sharing everything that ChiroSpring's about.
Absolutely. Happy to take the time. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you so much for watching this video on the Evidence-Based Chiropractor channel. If you don't want to miss a single thing, please subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get notifications of every video we put out, and we put out new content each and every week. So be sure to subscribe today.